Okay, so 3-point perspective. This one kicked my butt a little bit. But once one thing clicked, everything started to make sense. So let me show you what I learned. Hey everyone, welcome back. So if you've been following this series, you would have watched that we've covered 1-point perspective, 2-point perspective, and now 3-point perspective. And I gotta be honest, out of all of the perspectives, this one's definitely the most challenging. Like, I understood it in theory, third vanishing point, okay, cool. But when I actually tried to put it into practice, it just didn't work. It wasn't functional, I couldn't lay it out on a page, and I really struggled with the concept. But after I prompted ChatGPT quite a few times, it gave me some things to consider that really changed how I viewed 3-point perspective. So today I'm gonna break down exactly what I learned. We're gonna cover the difference between having the third vanishing point above the horizon line and below the horizon line. And I'm gonna do a final piece for you where it's gonna look like we're standing on a street corner looking up at some glass and stone buildings. So with that being said, let's dive into it. So here's a quick recap of the perspective basics we learned. In 1-point perspective, everything converges to a single vanishing point on the horizon, like these two boxes heading towards one point on the left. But in 2-point perspective, we use 2 vanishing points to create more dynamic depth. See how these boxes recede towards both sides rather than one? This gives us that realistic 3-dimensional feel we're looking for. Alright guys, let's dive into 3-point perspective. So unlike 1 and 2-point perspective, where we stay around eye level, 3-point perspective brings in this cool vertical vibe with a third vanishing point. First up, we've got a bird's eye view. Imagine we're looking down from a super tall office building. You can see how the building looks like we're peering down from above. We've got our 2 vanishing points on the horizon line, and that important third vanishing point way down below. All those vertical lines are heading downward, giving that awesome feeling of height as we look down into the scene. Now let's flip it around. This is a worm's eye view, like we're staring up from ground level. Here our third vanishing point is way up high above the building, and all those vertical lines are shooting up towards it. It really gives you that dramatic upward look, like you're gazing up at a skyscraper. Honestly, the hardest part for me was figuring out how to lay this out on the page. It finally clicked when I tried placing the building above the horizon line with the vanishing point below it, or the other way around. At first I was putting the whole building below the horizon line when my vanishing point was also below, which was tough to visualize. I mean, it's possible, but it was tricky until I got the hang of just seeing the front faces of the buildings. And another big tip, start with the lines going to those 2 vanishing points on the horizon line first. That helps set up the width and length of the building, and then you add the height by connecting to that third vanishing point. Alright, so let's dive into this. I wanted to capture that cool dramatic view you get when you're standing on the street looking up at those towering city buildings. In this case, we'll be drawing with a worm's eye view in mind, where the vanishing point is high above the horizon line, remembering the horizon line is my eye level. I kick things off with my trusty Lamy pen using a fine tip and waterproof ink. First things first, I laid down the buildings and made sure the vertical lines were all pointing towards the vanishing point way up. Once I had the basic forms in place, I went back to build out the balconies and fill in the windows, adding in all the little details that give these structures their unique vibe. Now, I noticed I'd made the balconies on the right side way too short. They weren't proportionate with the rest of the building, so I made a mental note to extend those later. Not a big deal. Next up was the watercolor stage, which is honestly my favorite part. I started with a soft blue wash for the sky, then moved on to the buildings. I went for cool blues on the glass skyscrapers and warm yellows and ochres for the old brick buildings. The watercolor really adds depth that you just can't get with line work alone, at least until I learned how to hatch a little bit better. And of course, this is when I extended those balconies on the right building. Once everything dried, I grabbed a thicker ink pen to outline and define all the details. This final pass really makes everything pop and gives it a little bit more clarity. So that's 3-point perspective. If you missed the earlier videos where we cover 1 and 2-point perspective, definitely check those out. I think it's helpful to have a foundation before moving into 3-point perspective. But I want to see what you created. So give it a try out a bird's eye view and a worm's eye view, and tag me in some pictures on Instagram or send me a direct message. Show me what you've done. I'd love to see what you've created. And let me know in the comments if there's anything else you want me to cover with perspective. Maybe curved perspective or an interior scene. And with that being said, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next one. Keep drawing.